Welcome to ash tree training. Today, we will talk about the main event, identifying your ash trees. The more familiar you become with your trees, the more confident you'll feel when inspecting them out. By the end of this video, you'll be able to spot an ash tree from across a parking lot. Okay, maybe not quite, but you'll definitely know one when you're standing right in front of it. Let's make you ash tree identification experts. Ash leaf structure. All right, let's start with the superstar feature, the ash leaf. Remember from part 1 that ash trees have compound pinnate leaves? Well, let's get specific. An ash leaf typically has 5 to 9 leaflets arranged along that central stem, usually an odd number, so there's one leaflet at the tip playing the leader role. Picture a feather or a fishbone, but make it botanical. Each of those leaflets has serrated edges, nice little teeth running along the margin. Run your finger along the edge, gently, this isn't a paper cut competition, and you'll feel those tiny serrations. Now here's where people sometimes get confused in the field. Each one of those leaflets might look like an individual leaf, but remember, the entire structure with all those leaflets, that's one compound leaf. Mind blown. Leaf arrangement. Pop quiz from last time. What's the leaf arrangement of ash trees? If you said opposite, give yourself a gold star. This is your #1 field identification feature. When you're looking at a branch, those compound leaves are growing in pairs, directly across from each other. This is non-negotiable ash tree behavior. So let's put it together. Compound pinnate leaves with 5 to 9 serrated leaflets, arranged oppositely on the stem. If you see this combo, you're almost definitely looking at an ash tree. You're already 90% of the way there. Seeds. Let's talk about ash tree seeds, which we mentioned last time. They're called samaras, and they're absolutely fantastic. These are those winged seeds that spin and helicopter down from the tree in late summer and fall. They're sometimes called ash keys because they kind of look like old-fashioned skeleton keys. Kids love playing with these. If you see these distinctive winged seeds hanging in clusters or scattered on the ground beneath a tree, that's a great confirming clue that you're dealing with an ash tree. Flowers. Now, let's talk about ash flowers because this is where things get interesting and a little weird. Normal ash flowers appear on thin, delicate stems about 1 to 1.5 inches long. They might have green anthers during flowering season. But here's what you'll often see in the field. Flowers that look like black or brown pom-poms clustered on the branches. Plot twist. Those pom-pom-looking things aren't actually normal flowers. They're the result of something called ash flower gall, caused by tiny microscopic mites. We're talking areophyte mites here. So small you'd need a microscope to see them. These little critters infest the flowers and distort them into those brown pom-pom shapes. Now, before you panic and think the tree is dying, relax. Ash flower. Gall is mostly aesthetic. It looks weird, sure, but it doesn't hurt the tree. Think of it like a bad hair day for the tree. Annoying, but not life-threatening. The tree will be just fine. So if you see those black or brown pom-poms on an ash tree, you'll know exactly what's going on. You can impress your friends with your mite knowledge. Bark, let's talk about bark. Now, I'll be honest with you, bark identification takes practice and experience. It's not always the easiest feature to rely on when you're starting out, but once you've seen enough ash trees, you'll start to recognize the pattern. Mature ash trees develop a distinctive diamond-shaped texture with interlacing ridges. It's like nature decided to make a chain-link fence pattern in tree form. The bark has these intersecting ridges that create diamond or crosshatch shapes. Young ash trees will have smoother bark, so this feature is most useful on established, mature trees. Use it as a confirming characteristic along with your other observations. Tree gender. Here's a fun biological fact. Ash trees have a complicated love life. Ash trees can be male, producing only male flowers with pollen, female, producing only female flowers that turn into seeds, or, and this is where it gets spicy, androgynous, meaning they have both male and female flowers on the same tree. Why does this matter? Well, if you're looking at an ash tree in spring and don't see any seeds developing, it might be a male tree, or maybe it's just not a good year for seed production. Trees are complicated like that. The important thing is, don't rule out an ash tree just because you don't see seeds. Check all your other identification features first. Types of ash trees. All right, now let's talk about the ash tree family reunion. There are several types of ash trees you might encounter, and while they share the key ash characteristics we've discussed, they each have their own personality. Green ash. This is your most common ash tree in our area. It's the one you'll see most often in the field. Tough, adaptable, and unfortunately a favorite target of the emerald ash borer. White ash. This is a beautiful tree with a lighter colored bark on younger branches. The leaflets are often a bit wider than green ash, and the underside of the leaves can have a whitish appearance. Black ash. These prefer wetter areas, swamps, lowlands, and moist soils. The leaflets are typically attached directly to the main stem without little mini stems of their own. Blue ash, less common, but named for the blue dye that can be extracted from the inner bark. How cool is that? Purple ash. This one's a bit of a wild card and less common in our region, but worth knowing about. The good news? They all have opposite compound pinnate leaves with serrated edges, so your core identification skills work across all ash species. Fun fact recap. Quick fun fact. Reminder before we wrap up. Those crazy brown pom-poms you see on ash flowers? They're called ash flower gall, and they're created by microscopic areophyid mites that basically throw a party in the flowers and distort them into pom-pom shapes. It looks dramatic, but it's totally harmless to the tree, just aesthetic chaos. Normal ash flowers have those elongated stems we talked about. Nature is weird and wonderful, folks. And there you have it. You now know how to identify ash trees using compound pinnate leaves with 5 to 9 serrated leaflets. Opposite arrangement, samara seeds, those interesting gall-infested pom-pom flowers, diamond-patterned bark, and you even know the different types of ash species you might encounter. You're now equipped with the knowledge to confidently identify ash trees in the field. That would be all. Thank you for watching. See you in the next video.